All right, welcome from east to west. Amazon AMA. Sorry, I love that hat, man. I can't get over how cool that hat is. But welcome to another episode of From East to West, powered by Cartology and Amazon with Brett, and apparently Yeti too.
That's right.
We do not have use to use their copyright, but we're just promoting a brand maybe that we like. Welcome, and the Amazon cowboy and the Amazon janitor are here to help you. And we like to have a good time doing it. It does not have to be serious, people. There's a lot of just minutia out there that you have to deal with. And so have fun with it while you're there. Welcome, Brett. What's going on, man?
Oh man, tired. Kids are sick. Thrown up, not sleeping. Good times.
Good times. Yeah. I thought of something to say, but I thought it might not be the best. So I decided not to say it. I've seen a lot of new things. So let's skip over your personal life because, I mean, who cares about that?
Who cares?
Am I right?
No one cares.
I honestly, are all the kids sick? Or is it just one or two?
No, the little one the middle one had a little tummy thing a couple days ago, and then we thought we were in the clear, and then the big one, the oldest one, and the kid's sick. Yeah.
Here's to kids getting better. I told you yesterday I've kept mine inside, away from sick kids because we're going out of town tomorrow, and I do not want anyone ruin my vacation. So, and kids love to share, man. They love to share germs and diseases.
Oh yeah.
Brett, while you pull up the questions that we have
for
today that are already pre-loaded, and for anyone who is watching and is a part of this live stream, you can submit questions on you can submit. What's up, Hubert? You can submit questions on the form that was on a post that I provided. And you know what? I will drop in the comments section. I will also drop a link to the form that we have so that you can drop them there. I guess I should do that on the live so that people know.
Well, can't they also just pop it in the
Oh yes, and you can. Yeah, I should have said that. You can pop it in the comment section if you're here. But for future shows, I'll also put you can use that link to submit questions for further review. So welcome, Hubert. He's excited about the cowboy.
One of the questions. Actually, you go ahead and we'll deal with the next that first question that leads into that.
All right. Apparently, I'm showing something. I was showing something restream populated. So where are those questions at? Because I'm gonna pop them into the chat. Oh, the thing. Oh, before you get there, the thing I was gonna say is I've seen a lot of things change in Amazon's interface recently. I've seen you call them out on social media. I saw something yesterday that talked about Amazon now showing like 2,000 units sold, which I have some opinions and thoughts on that, but I'd prefer to ask you first. Like, seeing that, also seeing like previously viewed. There's a lot of things that it seems like Amazon is trying to direct a consumer towards, and so I'm curious what your take on that is.
Well, let's first address the question that came in. It says Amazon Cowboy what?
Yes.
So I think that is a very important question to answer.
Amazon Cowboy what? First one. All right, Amazon Cowboy what? What is your
I think that this might be a why are you called the Amazon Cowboy? I don't know.
Okay.
But there is actually a post on LinkedIn that talked about I forgot who posted it because my brain's not working that well. And talked about all these people calling themselves Amazon experts. And I think the gist of that post was you're not really an expert in Amazon because things are always changing and evolving, kind of always learning. I think that's debatable. I think there's if you were, I think there's like the terminology, if you're an expert, is of X amount of hours that you put into something and you become quote unquote an expert at it. I think we all fall in that line. But then I commented and I said, that's why I'm the Amazon cowboy, because what do cowboys do? They just figure it out and they get it done. So
they also wrangle up in new territory too.
And they wrangle up territory and they make sure that whatever they're tending to is tend to correctly. So
because if not, your life is on the line.
Exactly.
Did you know I used to live in Oklahoma?
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was a lot of cowboy talk. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Learn about those Oklahoma Sooners rushing for land.
There you go. That's exactly right. I thought you were talking about the basketball and football team, but
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, though. There are definitely Amazon experts. I know Malcolm Gladwell talked about, 10,000 hours being the need or the benchmark for hours. Now, I actually went back and read, and he said that he got that information from someone at a like a music school where people were just practicing relentlessly, but later said that and followed up with some of the teachers there that 10,000 hours wasn't necessarily the benchmark, but it depended upon the person. Some people needed more hours, some people needed less, but there was a place where you got to proficiency, and it depends also upon style. Like if you're a classical musician, I think being able to memorize music and also play things exactly as they're written is key. Whereas for a jazz musician, being able to know keys, modalities of keys, know what chord progressions go together well, and being good at soloing, like it's a totally different field. And I've seen, and heard classical musicians be like, I don't know how that jazz person is doing that, and vice versa. Like, how is this person just playing exactly what's on there? Like, there's no freedom there. So it depends upon the genre. But Amazon is changing. But there are definitely people that are experts out there that know what they're doing. I would say the people who are focusing on, and this is a generality, but people are focusing on like, I'm the Amazon expert, are trying to assert confidence that they know what they're doing. And I think focus on whatever it is. This is my 2 cents that nobody asked for. If you're a service provider in the Amazon field, or if you're a brand and you want to be known as an expert, you can call yourself whatever you want, but focus on the things that you know and just talk about those. It will be very clear that you know what you're doing, and social proof will be provided based on the comments that you're making, based on the content that you're putting out. But sometimes I feel like saying Amazon expert is like, oh no, I'm an expert. No, I know what I'm doing. It feels a little bit defensive. Mm-hmm. Now, when I first got started in the services area, I said I was an Amazon expert. That's part of what I want to do. I wanted to show that I knew what I was talking about and instill confidence in you. But it is constantly changing, and so that means in order to remain an expert, you have to stay on top of all the minutia that's coming down.
Yeah, and there's multiple ways to stay on top of it. It's like in the weeds, or just being in a group of people kind of talking about it, and like just talking about it. Really, I think that's the biggest thing.
All right, so let's talk about it. First question: what do you think about this? About the new this many items sold label showing up on product search results?
What
do you think?
I think it's interesting. John Dirktis. I'm probably not saying his name.
Dirkits.
He's a very intelligent guy. Says words that I don't understand.
I don't know his actual IQ, so let's make sure we follow up.
I'm joking. I
posted. He's a very
knowledgeable dude, and I joke around with him. I posted something on his LinkedIn post about it yesterday, which is very, very good. He reposted it on Twitter this morning, and basically he broke it down and said that some of it's FBA, some of it's 1P, some of it's FBM, it's not FBM, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's exactly what. Two things. He called it Web Lab. I think that's what they used to call it in internal Amazon when they test things. Basically, I think Amazon's testing things. And they do this all the time. So they'll roll out something in their UI and they'll just test it and see how it does and if it helps the product and whatnot. That's probably what they're doing. 100%. I would bet my lucky hat on it. And then, it's interesting because and then there's that question. He brought it up too on Twitter, and I brought it up on LinkedIn and repurposed it and gave him credit. It's like, how does that compare to all the softwares out there? Jungle Scout, Helium 10. How does Amazon saying, hey, this sold 10,000 units last week compare to those software ones? And I don't think that question can be answered yet. It'll be interesting. I'm sure someone will post about it soon. I usually would, but life.
I am trying to find the gentleman's name. Mansour Narazi posted about it yesterday. I think I'm saying his name right, from Incrementum Digital. Yeah. And he said he didn't like it. And I would agree. I'm not a fan of it because it's now going to potentially incentivize people to buy something more and potentially lean off other items. And so it just increases subjectivity, I feel like, and maybe gives brands we know that brands that are high in search already have an advantage. Now you're giving them an additional advantage, which means that it could be even more competitive to get to that spot. It could cost more. You're making it, I think, potentially be more expensive for those brands. So
yeah, that's a good point.
That's one of the things that I feel like could be frustrating.
I think we're also, you and I and all these other individuals that are pushing about are thinking more about it on the business side. So we're thinking about it as service providers and as people that market for these brands on Amazon. And that's how we're thinking about it. On a consumer side, if you see it, it's more about, that's like a social proof kind of thing. So it's almost going to guarantee that person is going to click on it and be like, oh, cool. This one sold 18,000 units last week. Wow. That's a lot of people like this product, maybe I'll like it, and it's just like, the influencer kind of thing. It's like, oh, cool. That person that I don't even know and I follow on social media really likes this product. I'm going to buy it, So I think it's that aspect of it. And I think that's where Amazon's going to try it out. And they'll be able to see if the click-through increases, which I assume it would.
I'm 100% believe that.
Yeah. So that's where I think. I don't know where it's going to go after that. But I guess it's just more of a reason to make your listings super strong. Because if you're getting extra click-throughs on that and people aren't converting, like, that's a problem, and that's something that Amazon's putting on. It seems like it's putting on. I don't think there's a button in the back end that says, hey, show this. So
yeah, I doubt it. The other thing that I saw and that you noticed, and I just saw it because I was looking for more brands to work with. I mean, I was legit doing prospecting and I was looking at these brands' items and saw previously viewed, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I will say, I guess I don't know fully. I don't have like a judgment on that. But one of the things is it helps me to remember what I did look at and have a frame of reference, so I don't necessarily need to click into something if I'm like, oh yeah, I did just view that. What are the other things I want to look at? So that's almost an opposite thing that allows you to see what are the additional products that you should be looking at that you haven't looked at, which I think is a potentially a huge plus.
And I think this is just all theory, but I think Amazon's doing that on purpose so they can kind of use their algorithm in the back end to basically say, hey, like, these products all connect with each other and all that kind of good stuff. So I found that interesting too. The whole, like, we previously viewed, and it's a pretty big call out on the list, and you can't miss it when you're scrolling through the SERP. So it's interesting.
I will also say a lot of people, I'm posting these comments in the questions in the comment section so people can reference back to it. But one of the focus on creative is, once you're on a product detail page, how well are you getting someone to convert? So is your creative very boldly stating what your product does? and really USPs. I notice people who have product like food or personal care items talk about ingredients, and I think that's a miss. Like, oh, we use like just simply stating the ingredient, lavender or palm oil. Tell like why is that important? You have to give context. It's almost like saying, hey, I went to a baseball game and the score was 20. What? Who scored what?
Yeah.
Like who won the game? I actually stole that from a health thing about cholesterol, but that that doesn't provide context, and so you need to tell people, no palm oil because it's not sustainable or whatever. Like give people a reason to do the work for them is what I'm saying. On your creative, do the work for them, use lifestyles and overlay with the proper text so that they do not have to do any additional work because they're not going to is the bottom line.
Yep.
But I was going to say a lot of focus on creative is on the PDP. That first image has to be engaging. If you can rank high in search, but if your image, I mean, it needs to be within terms of service. I've seen some interesting things recently that are not, but if your first image is not engaging, people will not click in, and you have no chance to get conversions if you don't get clicks. So that first thing is clicks. And
that was
something
that was another something I brought up too. I was looking at, I think it was
sure you did.
It was that it was almost like the second image was coming up as the first image in search results. And it wasn't just sponsored, it was organic too. And this was in the like carbonated water sector that I was looking at. I posted on it on LinkedIn about that. And that's interesting because I think that was a test as well. Don't know what, but or how or what it's gonna evolve to, but it's just an interesting kind of deal.
Other thing I would say is if you see something new on Amazon, it doesn't mean it's the standard across the board.
That's very true.
And a lot of people will announce, hey, this new thing is now happening on Amazon. It could be a category thing. It could stay a category thing. One thing that I've seen happen that I've not seen across all categories or happen consistently is the hiding of bullet points on desktop and mobile, not showing them.
I think that's usually in the grocery category, isn't it? Or something like that?
Honestly, I don't know. I've seen it in different multiple categories, but I'd say just keep your eyes peeled, especially if you're in a specific category. You should watch for those trends and know, is my category being affected different than other categories? Yeah. So get that click, people. Get that click. All right. Next question.
I like that tagline. Get that click.
Get that click. Get that click. I'm a part-time rapper.
Look at the domain,
but I'm very part-time because I don't make any money on it. Clearly. What's the deal with Buy with Prime? So I've heard a lot of people that are in the e-commerce sector, meaning, DTC, Shopify, BigCommerce, those kind of platforms, asking about Buy with Prime and what's the deal with it? Is it effective? Is it working? And I've heard, wildly different things. I will say a disclaimer that my agency is an agency partner with Buy with Prime, at Amazon. And so, I mean, I take that for what it's worth. I think my perspective is I think it has the potential to be really awesome, and it's still being fully proven out. But I think it can right now. It makes sense for some brands, and may not make sense for other brands. But I know that they've got a ton of employees that are working on this. I mean, I'm hesitant to even say the number because I don't know that I'm checked, but it's definitely more than several hundred. I'm almost positive. So there's a lot of effort being put into this, and I think the power of Buy with Prime is in the Prime. That's why people trust Amazon, is because they have literally and figuratively delivered on their promises. And so people continue to shop there because they know they're going to get things when they need to. Even when things got disrupted in the pandemic, I remember talking with other people saying, oh, I'm mad because I got my item in 4 or 5 days. And it's like, look, I'm still fine. Didn't get in 2 days, didn't get in 1 day, but they still deliver on their promises. And that Prime promise is so powerful. The one thing that seems to be up in the air is Shopify stating that it was, apparently they did a restating of of terms, and it sounds like it's a payment effectiveness thing, meaning you now check out with Buy with Prime, it could potentially hurt Shopify Pay or Shop Pay, but they already offer Amazon Pay, so I don't know why, and allow that. I'm pretty sure, so I don't know why that would be such a big issue. But I think there's a lot more to come, and I'm excited to see the developments. I would say if you're a single item brand right now, meaning most people come and buy one product, I'd highly recommend it. If you've got something very specific, a way that you work things, or you're doing cart building, that's not currently a feature, so it may not be the right fit right now. But I think there's promise in the future. What's your take, Cowboy?
I mean, basically, their website says it increases conversion rates by up to 25%. I've heard from some people that that's accurate. I haven't heard any conflicting info. I think it's great.
I think most people have just been hesitant to do anything, honestly.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome. I think you're right. I think some of those bigger brands are kind of like, well, but it's the same. It's pretty much, isn't it the same thing as like if Amazon Pay, or it's like the next level up, I guess. You're not just
the next level
Amazon
up.
Pay. You're using them to fulfill the products.
And because you can do a MCF, a multi-channel fulfillment item already on your Shopify site, and you can already do Amazon Pay. So you're right. That's a great way of saying it's the next level. It's now saying we will deliver on Prime promises from Amazon.
So the people using MCF, or you can get it in a plain brown box and it's not coming in an Amazon box. That's an option too. So it kind of looks like you're delivering it, but now you're just saying, hey, Amazon's going to deliver this product for you, and everyone knows the Amazon promise for deliveries. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's great. I've been having a hard time talking to some brands that I work with to like actually try it. They're like, oh, yeah, this is cool, and they're just kind of like, I think that's the biggest thing. It's like you said, I think if you have like one or two products, it's like might as well try it. But everyone, it's always that thing that everyone wants to. Well, I guess you still get the customer information if they check out with it. I don't know, but that's.
Oh, you do get customer information. That was something I was going to say. If someone checks out with Amazon, you get email. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you would get, it's in a separate portal, but you get a lot of the stuff that you would get from a Shopify site. So now, and Amazon's also willing to send traffic from a store page to your direct-to-consumer site. That never happens. Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of revolutionary. And honestly, it makes me think, what could be next? What could be coming? What is Amazon planning? Because it seems like a launch of something that, I mean, Prime could become its whole own thing.
Yeah.
Prime department. I mean, I know there's people who are working on logistics and other things like that, but Prime is a brand in and of itself.
Yeah. And I heard Shopify is actually allowing it to happen now. I don't know.
I've not known of anyone that has had an issue. Yeah. I don't have a large sample size of clients that have implemented it, but I don't know of anyone who's had an issue. And honestly, my opinion is Amazon wouldn't launch if something had to integrate into sites like this. I really have a hard time believing they would launch without there being some kind of path to it being okay. And it could just be something that I've discovered recently is Shopify is building out their own fulfillment network.
It's probably
which
true.
I'm like, it is, but why?
Yeah.
They're building out their own Shopify app that is like a marketplace where people can go and buy and purchase stuff.
That's interesting.
And yeah, anytime I see someone going after Amazon in that way, I think Amazon has weak spots, but it's not fulfillment and it's not shoppability. So you could be barking at the wrong tree. That's where my head goes when I think about someone trying to compete with Amazon on fulfillment and from a marketplace perspective.
Yep.
All right. Next question. Oh, I already put that up. Next question. Brett, would you rather get caught in a dark alley with a criminal or deal with Amazon seller support?
Oh man, that's a hard question. The dark alley, do I have my Cowboys next to me or what's the context?
Yes, you have Cowboys with you.
Oof, oof, that's tough. That's tough.
I know my answer.
Dark alley.
Dark alley,
Yeah,
baby. I'm risk
I'm
tolerant.
probably going dark alley as well. Amazon support, man. It's bad. It's gotten worse. It's bad.
I saw um I saw
I think just they just do chat GTP for everything.
they've already been apparently doing it, because it literally here's the thing about, I mean, ChatGPT has been a big talking point, generative AI
Yeah.
to be more broad, but all generative AI does is mimic what, collection of
What you
data.
put in there.
When you see seller support, it's
Sickening.
mimicking just, it's like copy and paste. I mean, and honestly, it could be very automated, and that's what's so frustrating. And that for brands and sellers, and this is something that consumers don't see. And honestly, we should talk more about, I think, consumer perspective, because that helps brands get into the right mindset, is thinking about what a consumer is focused on. But one of Amazon's weaknesses is supporting sellers, supporting brands. And so if someone could come along and say, we're going to provide a great customer experience and we're going to provide a great seller experience, I'm not saying they'd be, $500 billion marketplace, but they've got a really big chance of just being successful in their own niche, because sellers would flock to that. I mean, I think people would mistakenly say, well, let's move everything off Amazon, but you can't. When 53% of people go directly to Amazon, look for products, and they're not going to social media, they're not going other places to start their product search. And so you're missing an opportunity there. But yeah, sellers don't get the support they need. And that's hella frustrating.
Yeah, it's I did a test once. Well, back in the day, I used to have like a basically like a SOP for support. And mostly it was just the main thing was just talk to them nicely and like talk to them like a person and just, thank
Yeah.
them and I and that used to be nice, and like and I feel like that used to work a lot better. Nowadays it doesn't matter. Like I try to put on that charm and it doesn't matter. There's no emotional aspect of it at all.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if you're dealing with a person. And then second, I did a test and I had the same problem with like 4 different ASINs and so I sent the exact same thing and just changed the ASINs. So exact same thing. 4 different cases that opened up. I think
How long ago was this?
not too long ago, probably like 3 months ago. But
Okay.
literally I think 2 out of the 4 or there's 2 of them had the same replies. So 50%. And then one had a different reply, and then another one had a completely different reply. Exact same. And it's just completely different replies. So I found that very odd that it was the exact same thing and 50% had 2 different replies.
Yeah. Well,
good times.
Generative AI doesn't get it right all
No.
the time. By the way, I was testing a format. I wasn't trying to get people to not look at you, but I think that is a super frustrating point, and why a lot of people would not want to be dealing with seller support. I'm actually looking at a tweet that a gentleman named Michael Patrone, who is on Twitter, a lot of people follow him. He puts out a lot of great information in the tweets, and his tweet is from in the middle of this AMA, and it said, y'all suspended one of my items for review manipulation, LMAO, tags Amazon seller support, filed an appeal. Within seconds, you denied it. What is the point to even sending the email below? Is this a joke? And you read the email, and it's very like, we removed the product listing in which you had an active seller offer because we detected high levels of reviews abuse activity. Like it's just very generic. And guess what? Amazon seller support replied back 5 minutes ago. Hi there. Can you please send us a DM with the ASIN of the suspended product? So if you are a seller on Amazon brand, whatever, and you're not using Twitter to elevate or to escalate your issues, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of people are dealing with that. And excuse me, that's something I'm thinking of using at an agency level more, because it gets answers.
Yep.
Because it's public. It's public. When you have these seller support conversations in private, you let Amazon off the hook in that case.
Yep. Yeah, Amazon Seller Help on Twitter has been doing a good job. A lot of times they'll bring it into your DMs and it'll kind of be the same thing, but on the front level, they want to make sure that it's looking good, for the sellers on Twitter. So that's
and I'm all about
Yeah.
that. I think just match that, and you'd be in a lot better place. But it can be really frustrating, and it has become a lot less human. And so, especially for more technical things, I just recommend to people to get help. Someone who maybe is a specialist in that, or reach out and rely upon other sellers who've had success, like a Michael Patrone. I guess I'm saying his name right. But it is definitely frustrating and leaves an opportunity for someone to come in and swoop up and do better than Amazon. Look, I want to be as unbiased as possible. I definitely love Amazon, but it's got its faults, and so let's be honest about those things. Okay, so gentleman Hubert, he's back, and he said, I contacted yesterday the seller support for a case. They then replied differently from what I was asking. So crazy. I think they are now using Chat GPT to generate messages. Could be right, Hubert.
There you go.
Don't know what to tell you, man. But honestly, I think it's probably just like a copy and paste thing. I don't even know that it's that sophisticated. But guys, we went over today, guys and girls, we went over today. And thank you for paying attention. Amazon Cowboy, what do you want to leave them with?
Get rest, get your sleep, take care of yourself. I don't know.
And I'm going to say, get that click.
Get that click. I like that.
Get that click, baby.
We should have one of these just around get that click.
Okay. Next one. April, by the way, we did this a week late because I was traveling. So I don't know that many people noticed, but whoever did show up today, like people like Hubert, thanks for showing up. We appreciate it. We'll repost this content, and generative AI response insert here. Also, next one, get that click, appropriately themed. And I'll just leave you with get that click. Until next time.